Streaming. Are we alive? Do we have power? Here we go, and camera, go live. Hello. Okay, how are we doing? Let me just set yourself up. We streamed last over the weekend a couple of times because we wanted to finish the main job, which was finishing off the skull. The pig skull is officially done, and I have to admit it's not as bad as I expected, to be honest. The foam still has some flex, and the primer doesn't seem to want to be cracking. It's not bad. So yeah, we're okay there. There's some flex in it. It's nice and sort of resistant. I'm not sure how it would be for a LARP weapon, but here we go. Yeah, I could go into some detail and sort of explain why I came with, went with the slightly rough effect on the bone. But the idea is it's supposed to have been a skull that was dug up. So it doesn't want to be totally clean and white and sort of pristine and bleached. So yes, we wanted to start brown and kind of give it some more colour and depth. The other job is our lovely pair of Druid boots. I'm quite liking the look of these, to be honest. We've already covered them in glue, and it's quite nice. I added more of the leaves and the vines, just because the few that I had originally made it seem a little bare, to be honest. So we're kind of happy with that. Added about 7 more to each, so we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13 on each. One with a bit of vine work going in between, so it'll give us a bit of greenery, so it's not just flat, solid brown. We'll put these away for the time being, because we are going to be thingying the what's-its, adding more of that cure coat. Uricoat, sorry. Just move you a little. And one thing I've worked out is a bit of white spirit. Let's just cover the name because they don't pay me enough, or anything actually. White spirit or mineral oil, I think Americans call it. Yeah. A little bit added to the mixture gives it a much longer pot life and lets us kind of take our time a little more, which I think is necessary. This stuff seems to dry far too quickly. Oh yes, this is hardened nice, hasn't it? There we go. That's not at all problematic. I think we'll stick with the gloves though for the time being. See, ideally, the ideal material is sort of, in my opinion, latex, if it allowed you to paint directly on it a lot easier. You can airbrush onto it lightly, but it kind of doesn't take paint very well. Pounds, fluid ounces, grams, here we go, 0. I'll just do 50 grams as usual and end up with 52. Seems about right. And what I've been doing is to 52, last time I added about 10 grams of the white spirit. I'm putting 8 this time. Heard someone else that that suggested isopropyl alcohol, which kind of I imagine also works, but this seems to do the job nicely enough. 6, 7. Oh no, we've put too much of that on. Lovely. Yeah, the 2-part mixing isn't ideal because it kind of commits you to use what you've mixed. This isn't necessarily a problem, but obviously sort of you can potentially mix too much. Yeah, my ideal thing, I suppose, would be Plasti Dip, if it wasn't so bleeding expensive. I'm not entirely sure how well it kind of coats on certain things. But when it's thinned down, it does coat nice enough. And I suppose it's nice that you can kind of manage the viscosity. But it seems to go on well enough, I suppose. obviously this stuff is supposedly quite toxic, which is definitely another negative against it. Ideally you want something kind of you can bathe in, would be the ideal, but you can't always have ideal, can you? You want something that you could just sort of throw on without much thought. It covers everything and you can quickly move on, you know? And something that doesn't destroy your brushes afterwards, so kind of water-based would be nice. I think this is getting a bit, yeah, because we put a little bit more catalyst than we probably should. It looks like it's kind of hardening maybe a little bit too quick. But it's all experiments, we're learning. So adding a little bit more later, it's a bit kind of jellified, but it's thinning down, so kind of, you know. Doing our best to pay attention to the edges. Yeah, it's kind of jellifying a little bit quicker than I'd like. So in a way, you sort of, whenever you're sealing foam, you kind of always want to do at least 2 coats, regardless of what you're doing, just to make sure you hit everything. Get into those nooks and crannies. Obviously make sure we get the bottom, as obviously the part that's rubbing against the floor is the bit that's going to get the most aggro. And obviously the edges, because the edges are the bits that rip, tear and pull the most likely. And we'll just want to go around the inside edge just to make sure that we've got everything covered. We're definitely going to need another coat on these. And we are indeed gellifying. Yeah, if we just kind of get the broad strokes. Into those Canucks and Karanis. Let's just make sure that we fill out all the holes. Just to be sure, I'm just going to kind of go over the joins. To make sure they're nice and secure. Just kind of force the gloop into the edges here. Yeah, it does seem to kind of gellify once it's kind of cured or curing. But that kind of covers most of it. There we go. It's got all nice and shiny. And we'll put that in the drying room. Yeah, the problem is now, okay, I'm going to see if I can save the brush and maybe even the pot by adding some white spirit. That a kind of, because I know they're cheap and I know they're technically disposable, but if we can recover them, that is a marking favour, but it doesn't sort of, now it's kind of properly reacting, it doesn't seem to be wanting to thin down. Yeah, it's gotten all kind of jelly-like. You can see it's all nice and gloopy. Let's see if a bit of IPA will work. As an alternative. That may be working. You can go back in there. Yummy. Okay. I would suggest IPA is the way to go. It's not the cheaper route by any means. Obviously, it's the way to clean things with it all the way. Yeah, I'll just leave that to soak. Put that back and get me a new set of gloves, because these have got all nasty and sticky. Okay, so IPA does appear to be the way to go. Helpful? That's good to know, I suppose. And let's get ourselves another takeaway tub. Note to self, get a new bloody scale. This one is dying. There we go. Thought for a second it had died. Nope. We want half that. Is that half? That'll do. Yeah, I think the problem is I put too much catalyst in last time, because I'm special like that. I'll stuff at 5, 6, 7. I have to admit, I do like the tiny little thing. Oh, brush, brushity brush, brush. There we go, nice and thin. It's still a little bit thick, but the fact that we can tweak it is kind of satisfying enough, to be honest. It sort of satisfies that box. So to be honest, it's a new material. It's not terrible. It's something new to learn, which is never a bad thing. I don't think I'd necessarily want to use it on bigger projects, specifically because of the kind of necessity to mix it and for the curing time. You know, it's going to require a little bit more practice, I think, to work out how much you can cover, what you can do with it. On the whole, painting is fine. It goes on easy. And evenly. It doesn't froth up too much because I am kind of trying to paint it quite quickly. Obviously it's sort of, you know, if you had to kind of paint it slowly and it sort of went off quickly, that would be kind of very problematic. But no, it's sort of not the worst. But admittedly, there's little competition at the moment. So any alternative to latex and Plasti Dip. As far as cost is concerned, I haven't really gone into that. I'll probably think about that when it comes to sort of buying some more. But I probably will get some more. You know, I've used Plasti Dip a bit, even though, as I say, I'm not a fan of it being kind of expensive, or at least on the expensive side for what you can do with it. Because I find Plasti Dip doesn't go on thick, or at least the rattle can, spray can versions. I've had a play about with the sort of paintable Plasti Dip, but once again I'm not sure about sort of how viscous it is. It was a while, and as I say, see, the thing with latex, because it's, you know, not a branded item, it's just latex, you can get it cheap, which kind of, sorry, but being affordable in my book kind of trumps many other flaws, because I found latex's major flaw is the fact that it being a natural product, it biodegrades. So anything you make with it technically has a kind of shelf life as it's rotting. It's not, you know, as quick as food is. You know, you're not watching it there sort of go off, and it does survive well in, you know, airtight containers. But it will eventually kind of go weird, is the best way of describing it. I think sort of measuring out 50 grams of part A. Let's see. If we just use the IPA. Oh no, 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 no. Don't be an idiot, Dean. That's water. That's not going to help. Yeah, it does seem to be coming out with this. Yeah, it's actually genuinely thinning down. Can you see that? So yes, clean with IPA. And it seems to come out quite nicely. I could probably recycle the gloves as well, but I'm not, because, you know, I'm cheap, but I'm not that cheap. So I'll get rid of these. Okay. Just leave that there. I seem to be having some success with the ooh. Get rid of you. Okay, and what to do while they dry? Well, ugh, sticky. Just we haven't recently purchased ourselves some new resin colorant. So we are going to make some more crystals. 1, 2. Okay. Two new tubs. Yeah. We've got 2 new colours for resin. And we're going to experiment to see how well that stuff goes. Yeah. Okay. Really need a new bleeding thing. About 80. So I'll make it 80-40, yeah. Or 83. So 124, 125. There we go. And I think this stuff's quite thick, so we'll just try and put the smallest of drops. We'll see how that goes. Kind of want just the smidge of a smidge more. What do I think? To me, does this look a little blue? Yeah, it's starting to look something like. Yeah, I think that'll be all right. It's actually starting to take the colour. This probably won't be enough. Where's my lighter? Burn, baby. total of 120 grams. And it doesn't come up to the top. So let's add, make it 80, add another 20 part A. And 10 of part B. Lovely. Oh. Ghosts are attacking. And it's still not enough. Gordon Bennett. $30 and $15, you think? That was 100. to add a little bit more of our green juice. So 130 seems to be enough. That tells me. $130, half of that is 65. $65. Okay, and this is the white. Ooh. That may have been more than we wanted. Oh, nice. Oh, put your hand in something. Oh dear, no. that's very opaque. Oh my. Yes. Well, we shall see how it goes. Okay, I think we need a bit more of that. Always need more. Hopefully it'll be transparent enough so we can see the light through it. Excuse me. Oh, perfect. As if I actually planned it. Or at least knew what on earth I was doing. Instead of just pretending to know. Just let them stand for a short while. I'm gonna see if I can clean this gunk off myself. I IPA. Yes. It seems to work, apparently. Oh! And he's clean. Well, now we've got IPA on me. So, you know, all things are relative, I suppose. Oh, random update to no one in particular. I may be getting myself a second 3D printer. But this time, instead of a resin one, it's going to be an FDM. One of the squirty, plasticky, blue, 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 blue ones. Blue, 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 blue. Okay, so just give it a bit of a a little bit more to the mold. So one 20 part A, and that needs 140 part A. Oh, again, more gloop. Yummy. So you can see what I'm up to. Actually, if I put you, without getting tangled up in the wires, you can technically, in theory, see everything. Kinda. Oop. Crystal one. And crystal two. You're good there. Excellent. Oh, that had oil in it. Oh, have you been pressurised all this time? Oh dear, that's unfortunate. Yep, that'll do. No, that's not good at all. Let's just spread a load of dust into the air. We don't need lungs, do we? Oh, we appear to have inadvertently aerosolized everything. Yeah, we just pressurized it to about 35, 40 psi. That'll do. Okay. Now we're going to leave that and see how it goes. We can hide these away. Hide these away. These put them to the side anyway. Okay. Bum ba bum ba bum. And this, I'd say, is ready for its next coat. It's not totally dry, but it is tacky, and that's when I think we can go with coat numero dos. Cinco. Talking about that. Do I dare use this? What did I do with the brush? Ah! Oh my. We can use the brush again. Awesome. Okay, how about we try thinning it out with IPA instead of white spirit. IPA is more expensive, it being once again more of a specialist item. £10 of the IPA, 50 grams of Part A, and 5 grams. No, that's 40. It needs to be 60, you pillock. 50 grams. There we go. That's better. Counting, Dean, counting. And 5 grams of this. 5? 5, go on 5, there we go. And mix. Let's see how the IPA mixes in. If it's better, different, it's say better, but only marginally. You know, it's kind of, as they say, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Coat number 2. Coat number 2 always tends to be easier because you've got most of the foam, in theory, covered already. But in its favour, it does react quicker. It's the fact that it's quicker means that, look, you know, if this was latex, I'd be waiting and waiting and waiting. I wouldn't be able to do this so soon. That's for absolute certain. You know, so yes, it's shorter pot life, but then again, it's got shorter pot life. You know, you can bash away at this, get it done. Coat 1, coat 2, coat 69, you know, coat all of them. That is sort of the positive that I'm not entirely admitting to, so I will now. The fact that it reacts quicker means that it reacts quicker. You know, you can carry on with your life. You're not sort of held back by waiting for the bleeding stuff to go off. Which, you know, positive, negative, if that's what you're after, this is the stuff you want. If you can kind of, oh, but already starting to kind of coalesce. So I think reusing the old pot and whatnot may not be, you know, necessarily a good idea. So yeah, we're already gellifying, so the IPA may not be that good at extending its pot life. Assuming that it's nothing to do with us reusing the pot. Yeah, no, I think the fact that it thickens, you can use the thickness of it to your advantage if you're able to, yeah, it's different. I'm kind of sort of if I was after a clean coat, you know what I mean, a thin, perfect coat, I wouldn't be using this stuff. This stuff you're going to end up, because you're rushing, because you need to get it on quick, unless what you're coating is small and perfectly flat, and/or I suppose. I think I'd mostly use it for stuff like this, for natural things that I wanted to get done sharpish. It's, as I say, once again, it's not as cheap as latex. It's not as entirely user-friendly, but if that's not an issue, it's actually not bad. As I say, the right tool for the job. Anyone who uses the statement, "A bad workman always blames his tools," unironically, is an idiot. Because, well, it's dumb. But yes, I would advise anyone using this stuff to have access to a lot of disposable stuff, because this isn't the kind of thing you want to be precious about needing to reuse your stuff with. I'm going to stick with the IPA because I want to make sure that the speed at which it reacted is due to the IPA and not due to using, you know, a second-hand brush. And pot. Okay. And 60 grams or up to 60 of you. Because I can count, honest. There we go. Looks like this amount has been successfully able to, assuming I've still got enough catalyst. Five. There we go. Yeah, I know you can add colours in theory to this, but the problem is, because this is a product, you know, the website, the company wants you to use their colourants. And I'm reticent to do that because, as we've said before, I'm cheap. So yeah, this stuff, they say you can add specific colours to. You're supposed to be able to have a metal effect and whatnot, but once again you can do that with latex, and latex works with acrylics. I don't know if you can use acrylics mixed in with this. And I have to admit, going over this the second time, I'm not sure where I've been. So it's kind of suck it and see and hope I'm covering everything at least once. And make sure I do all the edges at least. Yeah, so it's a mixed bag. It's not the ideal product, but nothing is. It has advantages and disadvantages over latex, similarly with Plasti Dip. And should anyone know of any other alternatives, I would be eager to hear. What they are, and we'll try them out. Yeah, I think the other lot reacted because so quickly because we were using the stuff in the partially in the old tub with the semi-reacted material. So IPA about as good as white spirit for thinning it out. But yeah, still, as you can see, I've only been playing with it for a short while and it's already reacting, so not terrible. Certainly something we would use in future, especially if they gave us a sponsorship deal. I am always willing to sell out to anyone who's willing to pay for my insane hobby. Weird hobby. It's not insane, it's just, you know. There we go. But yeah. That's coat 2 done. And as you can see, we would not have been able to do this with if it was latex. And I have to admit, because it's thicker, we would certainly not have been able to, it's certainly not as thick. This is much thicker than latex would be. Okay, we're going to let those dry. We need to leave them at least overnight for it to properly cure. So yeah, it looks like the second coat can go on relatively soonish, but the primer, the paint, etc, 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 we won't be able to do until it's fully cured. So we'll leave that until maybe a stream on Saturday or Sunday. I'm not sure because we're going to be playing some games. So yes, and IPA can be used on the hands. But I do warn you, IPA is an irritant. It's not necessarily ideal to have it on your skin. Oh, just washing my hands. So yeah, I think we shall call the stream there, as we've done everything we wanted to do and more. A short 1.5 hour stream. We've got 2 coats on the dryad feet. Yeah, 2 coats on the dryad feet, and we've got our new resin dyes reacting in the pressure pot. So we'll get them out probably on stream 2, why the hell not. So I think on that note, goodbye everybody, or nobody. There's every chance that someone may watch this video. It is up on YouTube for time immemorial, should anyone actually want to watch this. Give me a like. Oh yes, news. We're up to over 100 subscribers. We're in the triple digits. Huzzah! You know, when I actually get more of a channel, sort of the landmarks may be a bit more relevant. Should I ever get past 2 or 300? Oh, those heady heights of even triple digits. No, not triple digits. I'm up to triple digits now. Quadruple, 4 digits, 5. Oh, you know, one day I may actually be able to do this properly. Anyway, it's been fun. Enjoy.